Well, Tesla stock is not exactly having a great day. Let's go ahead and talk about this. What's going on? What are the biggest news stories that you need to know? And let's start with probably the one getting the most attention today. In regards to specifically Tesla, this article says Tesla stock breaks key level for the first time since November as Hertz downsizes their EV fleet. Now, it says, in 2021, Hertz ordered 100,000 Tesla vehicles, with the goal to convert around 20% of its global fleet to EVs. Many observers saw the move as a win for electric vehicles and a sign of growing demand. The order was valued by Bloomberg to be around $4 billion and helped propel Tesla's market cap to $1 trillion. Hertz said Thursday that it plans to sell about a third of its electric vehicles and will better balance supply against expected demand of EVs. I think markets are blowing this a little bit out of context. As you can see here, it says Hertz is offloading its Tesla EVs at steep discounts, adding to sharply lower used prices. Lower used Tesla prices will add further pressure to new Tesla prices. I mean, this would probably be true if Tesla already didn't lower their prices so much. I don't think this is going to have any influence or impact on Tesla decisions to raise prices or lower prices. Plus, a lot of these used Teslas from Hertz have 100,000 miles on them, 80,000 miles on them. So they're relatively used Teslas. Plus, Hertz is still selling most of them for over $20,000 when you can get a brand new Model 3 with 0 miles on it for $38,000. I think this story is way overblown today. But this is the key reason why Tesla stock is breaking down lower. Now, Tesla has been red 9 out of 10 trading days. 2024 has started off with a bang. I think we can say that for sure. Now, in regards to the broader markets, CPI is the main catalyst that is pushing stocks lower. For core CPI, it came in pretty much in line with expectations. Core month over month came in at 0.3%, estimate was 0.3%. Core year over year came in at 3.9%, estimate was around 3.9% as well. Inflation on the headline month over month, 0.3%. Estimate was 0.2%. And inflation on the year over year is the one that really is catching the headlines. I already said it would. Inflation on the headline year over year, for whatever reason, is the number that the headlines focus on, the algos focus on, when in all reality, that is not nearly the most important one to focus on. It's probably the least important one to focus on. But that came in at 3.4%. Estimate was 3.2%. So this was obviously not great news, but some of Wall Street says it's not bad news either. It really doesn't change anything. This report was mostly, if you're looking at core at least, in line with expectations. Warren Pies here on X, he's the founder of 3F Research, says, just a quick analysis. This CPI report changes nothing. 98% of core CPI increase came from services. 69% of that came from shelter. Shelter starts biting hard this spring. And Liz Young with SoFi Invest shares this chart. This, I think, is pretty eye-opening, right? So core goods, there's no inflation left, which core goods was most of the inflation during the end of 2021, the start of 2022. Core services ex shelter, well, that's actually been falling a little bit from where you were in 2022. Shelter, though, is not really doing much of anything. Energy is actually in deflation, and food is very minimal here. So core services ex shelter, that's a little higher than where we want it to be, of course, but it's really all in shelter at this point. What you'll actually find interesting too, in 2020, in 2021, everyone got stimulus and all this extra money. Shelter inflation really did not accelerate until the Fed started raising rates. Shelter inflation was actually quite minimal. The bigger problem was goods inflation in 2021 and the beginning of 2022. Then shelter inflation really started to ramp up. In a weird kind of perverse way, if the Fed lowers rates, that might actually do the most to pushing shelter inflation down. Think about it like this. If people can refinance their homes and get a cheaper payment, they're probably going to rent their home for a cheaper price. Just fundamentally, mathematically speaking, right? You're not going to rent your house for a loss. If your payment goes from $1,000 to $700, well, maybe you don't have to charge $1,200, $1,300 for rent anymore. Maybe you could charge $1,000 for rent, right? Just as a quick little analogy. So I don't think the markets are exactly convinced that this is any different than what we expected, because it's all about shelter. Now, the way that shelter inflation is calculated, it's owners equivalent rents. So basically a survey of owners of houses and what they would rent their house for, with no regards to market conditions, what's happening with the economy, with people's personal situations, no regards for anything. Good luck raising prices further above market value at this point. It's hard. I'm a landlord of 3 properties, some multi-units as well. And good luck. I'll just tell you that. But the problem here is, well, it works with a huge lag. So basically the numbers that we're getting reported now are from a year ago. And that, my friends, is a problem. FedMaster says December CPI shows the job isn't done yet. FedMaster says March is too early for me for a rate cut. I think we need to see more evidence. Now, this might actually blow your minds, considering a higher than expected CPI report, FedMaster, Fed Barkin, saying, hey, inflation's too high to start cutting rates. What happened in regards to this? Well, the probabilities for a rate cut in March did go down a little bit, okay? Just slightly from 67.3% to 65.3%, so less than 2%. But the odds of more rate cuts in the entirety of 2024 actually went higher. So the odds of 6 rate cuts went from 38% yesterday to 39.7% today. The odds of 7 rate cuts went from 31.1% yesterday, or 21.1% yesterday, to 25.7%, up over 4%. The odds of 8 rate cuts went from 0.4% yesterday to 2.1% today. So you got a hotter than expected inflation report, the Fed saying they're not ready to cut rates, and the odds of more rate cuts got priced in to our markets. FedMaster says we won't get to 2% target this year. I think what's even more fascinating about today's CPI report is 10-year treasury yields are actually falling about 2.5 basis points. If CPI was a problem and, you know, it came in hotter than expected, you would think your treasuries would rise, because that would say, hey, higher for longer, right? Less rate cuts. And that's initially what did happen. 10-year treasuries were trading at about 3.98%. They jumped to 4.06%. Now they're back to 4%. They're actually down now on the day, 2.5 basis points. This news is also pretty big news for Tesla as well. Today it says Tesla has reportedly told production workers in the United States that they will get a pay hike. Now, on one measure, this can mean lower profits, lower margins. On the other, it might say margins have improved enough for Tesla to give pay raises. Comment down below. Let me know what you think down below in the comment section. In other Tesla stock news, Elon Musk says the Model 3 Highland's name is not real. Someone just made it up and it stuck. Despite the general lack of traditional advertising and the absence of prolific brand deals, Tesla's electric vehicles have become Hollywood's favorite electric cars. Audi only sold 80,000 more vehicles globally than Tesla in 2023. Just for more context on this Hertz situation, they said today that they are selling about 20,000 electric vehicles from its US fleet due to higher expenses related to collision and damage, and will opt for gas-powered vehicles. Lucid delivered 1,734 vehicles in Q4, down 10.2% year over year. Q4 production was 2,391, down 31.5% year over year. This means they delivered just 6,000 vehicles in all of 2023. Toyota says they will roll out solid-state battery EVs globally in a couple of years, but I think Toyota's been saying this for years already. The 185 megawatt, 565 megawatt hour Capoli energy storage site includes 158 Tesla megapacks and is now fully operational. Owned and operated by Plus Power, the system will provide load shifting and fast frequency response services to HWN Electric, Hawaiian Electric, improving grid reliability with higher amounts of renewable energy. It appears as if 25 people have now received their Cybertruck VINs. 24 of them live in California and 1 lives in Texas. None of these people are affiliated with Tesla as far as actually working with Tesla. Mercedes announced they delivered 222,600 EVs worldwide in 2023. And Tesla factory tours are available again in the referral program for 15,000 credits. The Model 3 Highland's estimated delivery date in the US has been changed. The Model 3 rear-wheel drive has changed from January through February now to February through March, and the Model 3 long range has changed from January through February to February through March. This is a sign that we're seeing some great demand for the new Model 3. I can only imagine what the demand will be when Tesla does secure the full IRA tax credit again. The upgraded Model 3 is now available in Taiwan. These vehicles will be imported from Fremont, US. Google Trends data shows the Model 3 is by far winning at 38, the Model Y seeing a downtick to 30, the Cybertruck seeing a really big down move to 19, and the Tesla Model X, well, typically stays in the high single digits, low double digits, that sits at about 8. Inventory numbers for the Model Y continue to move higher again, but not nearly to the highest point that we've seen, which was about 7,000. You're currently at 5,700. The Model X recently has seen quite a big jump, starting to move downwards. The Model S has just been grinding lower every single day, and the Model 3 remains at some of the lowest inventory numbers that we have seen in, well, over 12 months now. Tesla continues to run 400 different ads globally. Let me know down below in the comment section if you believe Tesla should run a Super Bowl ad, costs about $15 million for 60 seconds. Tesla stocks option activity today is rough. You have seen 594 orders totaling $173 million from hedge funds and institutions with a positive order value of 49%. Although it looks like retail investors are a little bit more bullish than that, with call activity at 60% of the volume and put activity at 39.87% of the total volume. Tesla's short interest has recently jumped. We suspected this would happen because the cost to borrow fees have now hit about 9%, which is about 4 times more expensive than Apple generally suggests there's a lot of shorting activity. Well, you now see the short interest percentage of free flow at 3.21%, some of the highest points we have been at in quite a while, with $20.77 billion currently sold short. Tesla is still the most heavily shorted single stock on our markets, and last year, while Tesla short seller losses accounted for about 10% of the entire stock market's short loss. Which, for one stock to be 10% of all of the money that the shorts lost last year, that's off the chain. Over on StockTwits, you can see the sentiment is currently at 46, which is neutral, almost to the bearish side. Message volume is at 97. So there's a lot of activity, a lot of people looking at Tesla and saying, what the heck is going on right now? And a lot of people just don't know is essentially what I'm seeing from the sentiment. Some people are bullish, some people are bearish, but there's a lot of activity around Tesla. Here on the day today, oil is up 1.19%. The dollar pretty much flat. I'll go ahead and refresh this chart just so we have the actual numbers. Pretty much flat, slightly in the green, not a big deal. And gold is down about 0.15%. I'm looking for a big breakdown lower in gold because you have been so bullish recently. It was kind of alarming. Gold had went up almost $30 for GLD. That was saying something might be broken here. And the fact that gold is falling is actually great news. In other broader market news, as you know, all gaps must be filled. IWM's gap was just filled. This was the gap that we seen on December 13th. You just filled that to the downside, and IWM is retracing back up to the exact point that the gap was actually filled. This may signal a bottoming could be coming and hopefully reversing higher. That would also be great news for Tesla, as Tesla has now been down 9 out of 10 trading days. It's basically been straight down. Tesla stock is almost technically oversold on the RSI with an RSI reading of 36.50. The MACD also looks pretty negative. Tesla, again, has filled the gap as well, the gap that you've seen back here on November 13th. This should serve as a bottoming level for Tesla, and I think it can be a substantial level. So let's go ahead and plot that line here on the charts. It seems like you bounce right at that point, but Tesla stock is still down 3% at the time of recording this video. I don't think anyone could have predicted this landslide that we have seen in 2024 for Tesla, and I think ultimately it's a great buying opportunity, but boy, is it painful for anyone that is in the stock right now, especially levered to the upside. Let me know what you think about all of this information down below in the comment section. In the next video, coming out at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tonight, we are going to be going over the earnings coming out tomorrow morning, how that could also affect our markets, and generally what I'm expecting next for Tesla. You're now down into the mid 220s again. Can this be a point we can actually start to bottom and make some upside? You're under your 200-day moving average. That also needs to be discussed. You don't want to miss that video coming out later this evening. Hit the like button as well as subscribe to the channel if you guys want to come trade with us live in real time, no matter if Tesla stock goes up, down, sideways, spins in circles. You can be profitable over there in that community. Hopefully, no guarantees, obviously. 2023 was a great year. 2024 is starting off to be a pretty good year as well. Well, check out that link down below in the description of this video. My name is Michael Tyler. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one.